Hello neighbors, Christopher Henry here. Happy New Year to you. It's been a little while since I've done a teaching video on here besides the workshops with Noya Mountain Music. And today we're gonna be looking at 3 keys to kickoffs, okay? And so much of this comes with experience and hacking and trying different things. But there are these 3 keys that can pretty much get you within the ballpark on about, 90% of common bluegrass tunes and songs, more so on the song side of town. Okay, so let's look at them in the key of G, all right? So the whole premise to this is that when you kick off a song, how's it go? It goes 1, 2, 3, boom, dong, dong, dong. That's how you kick off a song usually. It's always that 1, 2, 3, dong, 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 dong. How you get from 3 to the downbeat, because it goes like 1, 2, 3, there's actually a 4, and then the downbeat is the next 1. Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, something happens, and then 1, that's the downbeat there, okay? And people count the music different ways, but most of us might be familiar with that whole premise. 1, 2, 3, go. And then the go is the 4th beat, and then the next beat is actually the downbeat. So you have pick up notes to the downbeat, all right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, okay? So in this premise, counting the strong beats, you're gonna have 3 eighth notes for this generalized system for kicking off songs, all right? This is a simplified way to do it. The other thing that you really need to understand about this is that you have out of the chord, what is a chord? It's like, in a simplified way, it's the 1, 1, 3, the 5, something like that. So you have the arpeggio, which makes the chord. So like our regular G chop chord actually just has a 1, a 3, and a 1. If you put the little finger down on the 7th fret of the G, then you'll have that 5. So you have a 1, 3, and a 5, and a 1. Anyway, okay, so 90% or more of your melodies are going to start out on one of those 3 notes, either the 1, the 3, and the 5. What's a 1, a 3, and a 5? Okay, those are the names of the interval positions, in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the same as a 1, that's an octave. This might be very simple for a lot of y'all. You might know this, some folks might be new, okay? So 95 or so % of the songs that you're gonna be kicking off have the downbeat on either the 1, the 3, or the 5, okay? And so what we need to do, and like maybe 90% of the time also, the pickup notes are going to ascend to the downbeat on one of those 3 arpeggio notes, okay? So I often like to use the gospel set of I'll Fly Away, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and that one that Hank Williams wrote called I Saw the Light, to explain this kind of thing, because each of those songs starts with the downbeat on a different interval note, okay? So when you're playing a song, if you're like, hey JD, kick off this song that I just wrote that you don't know, it just happened that it worked that one time, that story with JD Crow. Some guy gets up and says, hey, kick this song off that I wrote. And he just happened to do that little turnaround there. Anyway, that's a little side story. We like to have fun on this channel here when we can. And we like to get serious and learn this kickoff stuff. Okay, so if you're trying to kick off a song that you don't know, that's really challenging, because you don't know what the arpeggio note is gonna be for the downbeat. So you really just have to kind of guess. Good thing is that with this premise of the arpeggio notes, you're gonna be having a 1 in 3 chance of being right, because it's either gonna be the 1, the 3, or the 5. Okay, so how do we set these pickup notes up to nail that downbeat, okay? So we're looking for 3 eighth notes. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, those are our 3 pickup notes to the downbeat. After that is gonna be the downbeat. Okay, so you think about also like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can think about her like your good friend, and 4 and. Okay, or you could be like, you could have some little way that you come up with: pick up notes, just 3 syllables to get to the downbeat. However, mnemonically, you might need to think about it. You can make something up for yourself. All right. So let's start out with Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is starting out on the 1. Okay, will the circle. Now, the system that we're going to use is going to be using 3 pickup notes each time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, you could do it with less. Will the circle. You could have just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. But because we're going to be doing this in a simplified way, 3 8th note pickup notes. The way that this one works, walking up to the 1 in the key of G, all right, is you're walking up from the open D, right up the scale. Open D, 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the D, and then your downbeat is the 5th fret of the D. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and so on and so forth. Okay? Couldn't be a whole lot easier than that in a way. Okay? So you got 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Walking right up the scale. Okay? So our next mission is to figure out how we can aim for the downbeat being on the major 3rd. In this case, in G, it's going to be 2nd fret of the A. Okay? But before we do, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications, and you'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. I'll Fly Away is a good one for that. Some glad morning. That starts on the major 3rd, 2nd fret of the A. All right? So let's think about how we can have a similar situation walking up to that major 3rd, 2nd fret of the A. Okay, so last time in this Will the Circle Be Unbroken, we walked from the arpeggio note below the downbeat arpeggio note. The downbeat was the 5th fret of the D. The arpeggio note underneath that is the open D. We were walking up through the scale. And 4, and 1. Okay. So you got 1, 2, 3 scale notes before that downbeat. You don't have as many notes between the 5th fret of the D and the 2nd fret of the A to do that same thing. All right, so let's talk about that. Okay, so you could have the 1 whole step from the 5th fret of the D to the open A, and then go chromatic from there. 1, 2. This might be getting a little bit confusing, but what we're doing is hitting the 5th fret of the D and open A, 4, 1st fret of the A, and then your downbeat is 2nd fret of the A. Okay, so the way this would work would be like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 8. I'll Fly Away. Okay, all right. Now let me give you a second option. Okay, this might be a little bit more preferable, depending on your subjective tastes. And it's cold weather. I like to subjectively have a little taste of coffee. That's my Pooh Bear mug that my sister got me for Christmas years ago. Now some of y'all might like to hear about that. Okay, so one other thing that we can do, and this kind of works, it's a little bit more advanced in a way, but it's more musical and it could be more intuitive for some of y'all in a way also. All right, so what we're gonna do is do something like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so what happened there? We started on the open D up to the 5th fret of the D, open A, and then the downbeat. Okay, so we're using 2 arpeggio notes underneath the downbeat arpeggio note, 5th fret of the D and open D, to make our 8th note pickup notes. And 4, and 1, and 4, and 1. You could also use the 2nd fret of the D, and 4, and 1, but the idea is that you want 3 notes that sound good. Okay, it's hard to go wrong with the arpeggio notes. You could just, if you are, struggling to figure out what are good notes, you can't quite hear what the right ones are, you can't hardly go wrong with the arpeggio notes. You could just do, 3 pickup notes on the 5th fret of the D. That would work to get up to your downbeat, which is the 2nd fret of the A, excuse me. So all that works. Maybe the best one might be, that one right there. And all this kind of works the same way up the neck. We haven't talked about that. This is just, you know, like beginner kickoffs. You know. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. You know, will the circle be unbroken? 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1, 2. You know, so on and so forth. All right, let's cruise on. Okay. Now, could you do like, you know, more chromatic stuff? Yes, you could. You could do all kinds of stuff. But we're just kind of going for a real simplistic way of understanding this in a general way for the beginners and maybe a little bit of the intermediates. But really, if you can't kick songs off real easily, then you might still be a beginner. It's okay. You know. Let's go on to I Saw the Light. All right, so I Saw the Light starts on the 5. All right, I wonder so aimless. So we need to have our premise, 3 pickup notes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. And then the 1, in this case, is gonna be that D note. That's the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I wonder so aimless. All right, so if we're gonna kind of use the same premise, we're gonna be using an arpeggio note underneath the 5. So the arpeggio note underneath the 5, in this case, open D, is gonna be 4th fret of the G. All right, so we could walk that up chromatically. Works perfectly fine. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4. You're right in the game, okay? Could you use that premise where you go down 2 arpeggio notes and somehow use a combination of that and the next arpeggio note up to ascend to the downbeat arpeggio note? Yes, you probably could. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and oh, that works good, doesn't it? You need 3 pickup notes. That's just the key. You know, doom, 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 doom. Okay. So, so we've kind of covered that in a very rudimentary, reductionist, general kind of way in one key. It works the same way in all the other keys, just based on the arpeggio notes. The frets will change, the intervals between the arpeggio notes and like the downbeats and the rhythm, all that's gonna be the same. And 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, doom, 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 doom. Okay, now just for a little bit more of an advanced thing, okay, could you go like 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1. Do da doom, doom, doom. Okay, so now and goes to Anna. All right, so like for Will the Circle Be Unbroken? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, 1, 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1. So instead of having 3 pickup notes, now you have 4 pickup notes. 2 of them are 16th notes, and that's down, up, and then 4, and a 4, and 1. All right, so you go down, up, down, down. Those are your pickup notes, the 4 of them now instead of 3. And then your downbeat like it is normal. Okay, so you can change the 3 into 4, and 4, and 1. That's Will the Circle Be Unbroken. I'll Fly Away. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1. Ooh, easy as could be. All right, I Saw the Light. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3. Same deal. Anna 4, and 1 instead of and 4, and 1. So 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Either one works. It's not necessarily one's better than another. It's just what, you know, sounds good in that moment to you. Okay. All right, all this stuff works, you know, in A. It's good to get it in G because that might be the easiest key in a way. Get it in A, get it in closed position. All right. So it's much harder in the closed position. All right. Of course, in A, you still got your open strings. But to find it up the neck, 1, 2, 3. That's it. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and 1. Okay. All right. So that is a basic premise on kicking stuff off. It can really be that easy, but you got to kind of know what the downbeat note is going to be. And you got to know the melody because you got to know what to play after that. But this is just on basically getting that very first downbeat, okay? Because you might know how the melody goes. You might know that, you know, Will the Circle Be Unbroken goes, will the circle, but you might be confused about where that downbeat is. Will the circle, you might be trying to put like, will the circle, you know, might be trying to put the will on the 1 all that kind of stuff, you know, like with I'll Fly Away. Some glad morning, it starts right on the downbeat. So you need those pickup notes, which aren't a part of the vocal melody. You just go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and some glad, etc., etc. So hopefully this has illuminated some of that for the folks that have been, you know, struggling with that or wondering, curious about the system. Okay, so let's just take this a little teeny tiny step forward. We don't want to make the video too long, but we want to talk a little bit about, okay, so how do I figure out what arpeggio note the downbeat actually is? Because that's pretty crucial to understand that. All right, so for instance, if you're going to take the key of G, and you need to really, you know, I talk a lot about the internal repertoire, pillar 2 of the 3-pillar system: grunt work, internal repertoire, and external repertoire. Okay, so you'll hear me say a lot of times if you watch these videos that it's good to make a long list of every single song that you can think of, every single melody, starting with like Mary Had a Little Lamb, London Bridge is Falling Down, Yankee Doodle Dandy, Skip to My Lou, Kumbaya, You Are My Sunshine, This Land Is Your Land, all of that stuff. You know, what's that other one? You know, Polly Wolly Doodle, you know, all those nursery rhyme kind of things, Bringing Home a Baby, Bumblebee, all that stuff, because you can learn a lot from those songs because you already know them. That's your internal repertoire, okay? So for instance, if you really don't know what interval the downbeat of Mary Had a Little Lamb is, then that's a good place to explore. Okay, so you know you're in the key of G. So I encourage folks to just strum that 2-finger G, and I get a sense about how that chord sounds. There's your G note. If you want to play the G note, B, G, and try to hum that note as you play your 2-finger G chord, all 8 strings. G, that can be a good way to orient yourself around the chord. And you might just be able to pop out with Mary Had a Little Lamb, but if you can't, then this is a good place to try to hear what the correct arpeggio note is. So you play that G note, bottom of your chord, and you try to sing it a little bit. Mary had a little lamb. That don't sound right. Mary had, no, that's not right. Let's try another arpeggio note. Let's try the 5th, which is the 5th fret of the A. Mary had a little lamb. That sounds weird too, okay? So 2 strikes, we got 1, you know, pitch left, which is the major 3rd, all right? 2nd fret of the A. Mary had, oh, there it is. And hopefully when you do that, especially in contrast, there's Kaya Kitty, see that little cute princess, Leopardita. She's 5 generations away from a leopard, can you believe that? She's sweet, she's a little wild. So let's come out even when it's cold. Okay, so again, you have a 1 in 3 possibility of getting the right arpeggio note, okay? And it looks like Kitty kind of wants to go inside. Let's check her out. You want to go inside, baby? Pretty girl. You ready for your breakfast? You ready for your breakfast? Yeah. That's our other little kitty cat, Percy. Okay, you ready for your breakfast? Let's watch Daddy get the plate. All right, now what was we talking about? Something about playing the mandolin, something about Mary Had a Little Lambs. I gotta get my coffee. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna speed this up. Okay, back in the saddle here. So we were talking about Mary Had a Little Lamb in the interval. So it's really important to train your ear to be able to identify what arpeggio note is on the downbeat. Okay, let's take another common song that lots of people know. You Are My Sunshine. Okay, You Are My Sunshine has pickup notes built into it in the key of G. It's like, you know. Okay, well, I kind of already gave it away by telling you what it is. That's another example of how you strum your chord, just try to sing it. You are my sun. If it comes out funky, you know, then you can play each of those notes and you go, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. That sounds weird. That's starting with your downbeat on the 5th fret of the D, which is your 1. Sunshine, my only sunshine. That that'll put you in the key of E flat. Sunshine, my only sunshine. If you use the 5th fret of the A, sunshine, sunshine, my only sunshine. That will put you in the key of B flat or G minor, like in a minor harmony. Sunshine, my only sunshine. We're looking for that happy sound, even though it's kind of a sad song if you listen to the lyrics. Sunshine, my only sunshine. So with all of your different tunes, songs, in the bluegrass world and in your internal repertoire world, it can be really important to, develop the connection between your internal music and your singing, your humming, and how to find that on the mandolin. Because if that's not really strong, everything else is gonna be a lot more challenging. And so again, this is gonna be a place where we can really hone in on our internal repertoire to help us be able to handle external repertoire, okay? So if someone sings a song, I'm happy today, you know that is gonna be a 6 and that is gonna be a 5. What key are we in? Da, 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 da. I'm happy today, we're gonna keep it so you can hear that and to be able to feel stuff on the fly, being one of the ultimate goals. Okay, so I hope some of this has been helpful to you. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And please leave a comment if you wanna tell us what you wanna be learning about. And please consider becoming a Patreon supporter for Noya Mountain Music. That will help us keep making content like this on YouTube. So happy kicking off, and we'll see you on the next one.